Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to be doing a get ready with me, but trying some new products that I picked up during the Sephora sale. A lot of you had asked me to review this new Artist Couture Supreme Mauves palette. It did just arrive and I paid the fastest shipping again, so I just don't know. I'm doomed. I try to get stuff as fast as possible, but lately it's just a struggle. I still have quite a few orders on the way, and a lot of them are being like split up into multiple shipments. I also did receive another one size blush trio. I picked up Firestarter and I did demo that, but then I also got Very That, which is really, really neutral, and then more shades came in stock, so I did pick those up, waiting on them. Still want to test out the bronzer and contour trio. I only demoed this one time, so I want to keep trying this out. I also have a reformulated primer from Smashbox. They sent them all over, but I thought we'd start out with the Illuminate, and I wanted to give another try to this Beauty color corrector. I used it one time, but a lot of these products I'm still trying to get my thoughts, and maybe if I had a really bad complexion day, that would explain why they didn't work, so I want to keep using them. And then I have this Makeup Forever Aqua Resist Color Ink Liner. I thought maybe that would be fun depending on what we do with the eyes. And then I have some other stuff that I may throw in. It just depends on where the look takes me. So if you're new here, I hope you subscribe. If you enjoy these videos, please give it a thumbs up. I will link everything I used today down below in my description box as always. And without further ado, let's begin. So as usual, we're gonna start on the eyes. I have the new Artist Couture Supreme Mauves palette. I have to say, I think this is one of the first Artist Couture products that really I felt like got a ton of attention. I've liked a lot of the products from Artist Couture, but I haven't had the best luck with his eyeshadows. I got a pastel mini palette and it was really bad quality. And then I did get a small like neutral palette that was okay. But I know a lot of people really love these Supreme nudes. And this color story I feel like people are really into, but I'm actually not hearing the best things. I'm hearing kind of mixed reviews. So I'm interested to try. From what I can gather, people are having issues with the shimmers. So I want to swatch. I mean, that swatches nicely. That one feels quite dry. They both actually feel quite dry. That one feels kind of like dry glitter hybrid. Let me swatch this one. Now that one felt nice and smooth, so maybe there's like different textures in here. Yeah, that one felt dry too. So here are some of the matte shades. The only one that felt quite dry to me was this deep one, which is pretty typical. So we're just gonna play around, see what we can come up with. I'm hoping that it's not hard to work with. So I wanna go ahead and start with this shade right here called Lust, and I'm just gonna use this in the crease. Like I said, I've only tried, I think, well, I have tried 3, I guess. I've never found one that became like an absolute favorite. I love the color stories, but something about the formula just hasn't been top tier for me. So I'm just blending it into the crease and then sort of down on the outer part of the lid. I'm seeing a little bit of grabbing. Looks a little dry, like it's sticking in certain areas. I don't know if you can see that. I try to be pretty, I guess, picky when I'm reviewing new stuff, because what I'm looking for is just like easy to blend, great pigment, color payoff, you know, all of that. So next I'm gonna take this pink shade in here called Royale. Looks really, really pretty. I love like the mauve-y tones in this palette. I'm going to put this just on the outer portion of the eye and then just blend in. I actually feel like this is getting quite just patchy. Things are just not blending the best. I'm gonna go into Overexposed and I'm gonna see if I can soften those edges. I've not found that the formula for Artist Couture has been the easiest for me personally to work with. Like I can just see like harsh lines and I feel like I have to work harder to blend. So to really deepen this, I'm gonna go into the darkest shade called Prestige. This one felt a little dry when I swatched it, but it's pretty typical for shades in this color range. So I'm just gonna use that first brush to blend. I can already say that this formula is not my favorite. I feel like everything is looking very just like patchy, like grabbing in certain areas. This shade is very dry. I don't know how to describe it. This shade in particular just feels so incredibly dry. And I don't feel like it's as pigmented as I would have expected. Oh my gosh, this looks not great. I'm trying to work on just like not getting so, you know, worked up over makeup not working for me. Lately I've been striking out here, but we will do our best. I'm gonna go back in to that Royale, that pink shade. Just try to soften. Yeah, everything's just looking a little bit dull to me. You guys can let me know down below, but okay, so now we're gonna try a shimmer. I'm not loving how this is blending, but it is what it is. Trying to decide if I wanna go in. I think I wanna try out this shade, which is called Sex Appeal. This swatched okay, so I'm gonna try a brush. It's picking up okay on a dry brush. Okay, lots of fallout, so it's one of those that's just gonna be a little messy. I actually might wet it. So I went ahead and wet it, and I'm just gonna, yeah, there's like stuff all over your face, so even wetting it. Okay, I'm actually gonna try my finger. I can see sort of what people have been saying. It's just, something's off. Like, it's a pretty color, but so I just feel like something's missing. I want to try possibly this shade, which is called Obscene. This one swatched the most creamy. Like, it's pretty, but I don't know. There's like a duochrome aspect to it, but it feels almost like hard panned already. Okay, we're just gonna go for it, and I wanna try out this shade. Maybe it'll be, oh, that just swatches like dry, really dry, like almost like a pressed glitter. I'm so disappointed right now. I almost just wanna go back to what we had before. Okay, so now I can really see it. It's one of those when you swatch them, you might just be like, oh, they swatch okay. But once you like try to use, they're difficult. It's like they're hard panned and they're not really sticking. You're getting a ton of fallout. Wow, that's disappointing because this color story, I feel like so many people were excited about it. And now I'm kind of like, I think there's gonna be a lot of people that are disappointed with just, it shouldn't be this difficult to work with, you know? Like for instance, this right here, it's like grabbing, and when I try to like blend, it just won't budge. Like it's just not easy to work with. I'm talking about the matte formula as well. So honestly, this is one of the most difficult palettes that I've worked with in a while. Everything is choppy, especially like out here. I just keep trying to like pack it on and it just won't stick. There's just choppiness, lines, the shimmers are not good. Honestly, I'm really sad, but I would not recommend this. Like, this is hard to work with in my opinion, but I'm gonna move on to this Makeup Forever Aqua Resist Color Ink eyeliner. This is in the shade Plum. So these are new. It has sort of that kind of tip that I'm not really a big fan of. I thought this shade might be pretty. Now I really don't know if it'll be dark enough. It's called Matte Plum, but I just want to try it out. So I'm going to do just like a line on the top of my lid. This brush is super stiff. This is a very thin, watery formula, and that's something I don't love because now my lashes are like clumped together with the eyeliner. Like I feel like it just bleeds all over. So now when I put on my mascara, my lashes are just gonna be like stuck together. Just not my favorite, but I'm gonna try just because I feel like it doesn't look the best. I just don't have as much control as I'd like. I'm gonna try, I'm gonna attempt to take this deep shade and just sort of go over the outer edge, although I don't know if this is gonna work. So we're kind of 0 for 2 right now. Okay, no surprise, I actually just ended up doing a wing with my KVD tattoo liner. This was like clumped all in my lashes, so it made applying my false lashes difficult. It just wasn't working right, so I tried to go over the lash band with this Makeup Forever liner. It got up on my brow, all in my false lashes, so I was like, you know what, forget it. So I just used this to do a wing. I almost was considering just taking this off and scrapping the video, but I'm like, no, it'll be fine. So let's move on to Complexion. I do want to try out this Smashbox Photo Finish Illuminate Glow Primer. They did send me all of their primers and I was sort of confused. I think they actually did reformulate. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this just to the high points of my face. It has like a gold glow to it. It feels nice, like it's not super thick, but it's also not dry. I don't know, I think I'm seeing glitters, but it could honestly, maybe it's from the eyeshadow fallout. I think it is maybe from the eyeshadow. So this is the glow that it gives. I mean, I feel like it's pretty. I just don't know until I get foundation on. Of course, I'm gonna take my Hourglass Vanish airbrush. A lot of you guys said you picked this up during the sale and you're loving it, which makes me so happy. So I'm just gonna apply this to my T-zone area. For foundation, I actually picked this up when I was in store. I had just heard so many people raving about this recently, and I used this a long time ago, but it hasn't been in my collection for a while. So I wanted to give this another shot. This is the Dior Air Flash. I picked up the shade 3 Neutral. This is like a throwback product, and I remember really liking it, but I haven't used it in years. So I want to just try it again, revisit it. I really hope it works for me because right now, nothing's working for me, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna spray this on an IT Cosmetics brush. I would never just like spray this on my face. It can be a little bit messy. So I'm just gonna spray like that much and just start applying. Okay, I'm probably gonna need more. I haven't used this in a long time. There we go. I think I didn't shake it enough, so. A lot of people have been raving about this just more recently, and it got me thinking. When I was in store, I was looking at the Dior Glow and the Dior Forever Matte, and I was like, you know what? I haven't tried this in so long. I feel like I got a good shade. It looks super deep, like when you look at the can. The shade I feel like is nice. So here is what the Air Flash looks like. I feel like it's more glowy than I remember, but it could be that primer from Smashbox. I also feel like the shade oxidized just a little bit, but I still think it'll be okay. I just have to get like concealer on. So I want to go in with this BabsBeauty color corrector. I have the shade Pink, and I did demo this in another video on top of my concealer, but I want to use it actually like underneath. So I'm just gonna apply it right there. I feel like right now TikTok's going crazy with like the pink under eyes, which I'm not a huge fan on me of the pink under eye powder, but I know a lot of people really like it for brightening. So I'm just gonna see if this will really help brighten my under eyes. So using it under concealer, which it looks really nice and bright. The formula's thin. And they have a bunch of colors. I saw like orange. I know they have like green. Okay, so that definitely did brighten. I'm gonna go in with the Lawless Conceal the Deal in Cream Puff. Is that what it's called? Yes, Cream Puff. And I wanna see if I notice like the corrector really brightens more or adds more coverage. It does look nice and bright. So I do think it did, just because usually I can sort of see my blue peeking through. I'm wondering if it kind of takes the edge off. I don't know about you guys, but I do feel like it looks really bright. Like my under eyes look really bright. So maybe it is something that really works if you need just like that brightness right on the inner corner. I'm gonna set with my SheGlam Insta Ready powder. This is in the color Bisque. I really like this. It has on top like a touch-up powder, but I just really like the loose powder. And I know I use my Huda like all the time. So I was like, you know what? I need to switch it up. So I'm just going to press this in. This is a super smoothing powder as well. I was pretty impressed with it. I feel like that took down the brightness, which is good. My Huda in Pound Cake is a little more light, whereas this Bisque shade calmed things down, because I feel like I almost looked like I had like white right under my eye. So I'm just gonna pull this down. It's so smoothing. Like, look at how smoothing that is. Okay, so I quickly want to finish off the lower lash line just because I already know that I'm a no on this palette, but I want to just finish it just for some cohesion. So I'm gonna go in to the deepest shade here. I am just really, really disappointed in this palette. And then I'm gonna go into that pink shade again and just use this underneath. For the inner corner, I'm gonna attempt to use this shade, but it's just so like chalky. It's almost like it's dry. It's like a pressed glitter almost, which, yeah, there's just like fallout all over. Ugh. I'm just gonna finish the eyes there because I feel like it's a lost cause. So I wanna go in next to this One Size Made for Shade Bronze and Sculpt Trio. I have the medium color. I used this in a previous video and it's very, very pigmented. You have a cool tone, more of a neutral red, and then a warm tone. So I'm gonna start with the cool. I might mix in the neutral. Very, very pigmented. Like, tap your brush off and slowly build, otherwise you're just gonna look just too much. So I feel like that gave me a little bit of contour. This is just so pigmented though. I don't know if it's my favorite. I feel like it's a little hard to work with just because I feel like it can get muddy really quickly. I'm gonna go in to the warm shade now and just try to warm up the skin. I almost wonder if I'd like it more if I grabbed the, I think like light medium. The medium is just like really intense. And because it is so incredibly pigmented, I almost would rather build up with a lighter shade. Even trying to be careful, I still feel like it's just a little harsh and I don't know how really to avoid it. It's just really pigmented and it could just be like the shade is too dark. But I'm not loving the way it's looking. I feel like it's a little just like muddy or dirty looking, even just trying to build it up slowly. So now I wanna go into blush. I really liked the first color that I tried from this in Firestarter, extremely pigmented. So I picked up 3 more, but this is the only one that has come so far. This is in Very That. So in here you have a cream, then you have a matte powder, and then like a glowy powder blush. And you do have a flap to cover the cream. The one that I tried before, Firestarter, was incredibly pigmented. Obviously this is a much lighter shade, so I feel like this will be probably easier to work with. And I actually did like the shimmery color in Firestarter. It wasn't like texture enhancing or, you know, like a highlighter, but it does have a sheen to it. So that's the 2 powders. I wanna dip in and see how pigmented this cream is. Yeah, so I feel like this shade, because it's so light, you know, in comparison to my skin tone, I feel like this isn't going to be as intense, but you really never know. So I'm going to take my sponge and just dip in and grab product, and then I just kind of work on the back of my hand. So it's still pigmented, but I think just because this color is super neutral, I don't have to be as careful. Yeah, so this color is a little bit too neutral for my liking. But I really just honestly was waiting on other colors to restock. So I feel like this shade is pigmented, but it's just so similar to my skin tone and so kind of like neutral. It's just a little bit, I don't know, too neutral for me. It's not poppy enough. And I feel like I'm having a slight lift over here. It's probably because I just went in a little bit more aggressively. I want to go in, I guess I'm going to try maybe we'll just mix the 2 powders and just kind of go on top. Oh yeah, so that has like more of a punch to it. So I feel like that just gave it a little bit of a glow and a little bit more pigment. I think it is actually the like shimmery shade, which I like. So the cream in this one's a little bit too muted for me. I'll just have to keep trying it out. I really want to try all the different colors. I'm still preferring the Firestarter just because I love a bright blush, but I like these so far. Again, I'm using a new foundation that I haven't used in a while, so that could be the lifting or it could just be application. We'll keep playing around. I'm excited to get the pink one that I ordered. It's just still on the way and I've been waiting to get that one because I feel like it's going to be my favorite. I went ahead and lined my lips with my Makeup by Mario in Milk Chocolate. I want to try out this Venetian Peach. This is from the Pat McGrath and Bridgerton collection. I am going to probably include this in a trying new makeup soon, but this is the packaging. This color I just thought would be pretty with this look. Okay, I actually just removed some of my lip liner because it was kind of making my lips look dark. This formula feels nice. I love colors like this, like very peachy. All right, guys, so here's my finished makeup look trying new products, and I feel like we have another struggle bus. I'm just trying so much new stuff out that it's really not surprising to me, but I have to say the biggest disappointment of the day is this Supreme Mauves Artist Couture palette. I think a lot of people are gonna struggle with this. I am shocked, honestly, that they released this with the shimmers being so just difficult to work with. I mean, I'm looking at my eyes right now and they just look patchy. The shimmers, you can't even like see them. And I used 3. I tried to layer them. This is just dry and chunky, almost like a pressed glitter. And then these 2, they just don't want to adhere to the eye. In terms of the mattes, I felt like the lighter 4 shades were normal, pretty easy to work with. This shade, however, very, very dry, very patchy. I just have like lines of demarcation, just grabbing in certain areas. Not easy to work with at all. Not even super dark on the eyes unless you probably would not set your base. Or maybe if you tried to use the shimmers with like a glitter glue. But overall, for the price, I just feel like this is a huge fail. This is probably one of the most difficult eyeshadow palettes that I've tried to work with recently. Sadly, I'm not a huge fan of the Makeup Forever liner either. This doesn't really surprise me because anything that's very watery or liquidy that gets into my lashes, I just don't prefer. I really like a brush tip pen. So I knew when I shook this up and just seeing how just watery it is, it's just not the easiest to apply in my opinion, and getting it in my lashes makes my lashes clump together, almost like when you get lash glue in your lashes, and then my mascara doesn't go on correctly. So that's gonna be, unfortunately, a pass for me as well. Now, in terms of the Smashbox primer, I thought it was nice. I felt like, you know, it did give me a glow. It wasn't overly heavy or sticky. It wasn't drying, and it did have a nice shimmer to it. I really like the Rare Beauty, so I don't know if this would replace that. I would continue to use this though. There was nothing that really like wowed me about it, but nothing that I felt looked horrible. So this is, it's nice. It's not blowing my mind, but I'll keep trying it. The Dior Air Flash, I'm a little undecided on. I feel like the shade I got looks a little dark, so it oxidized. I mean, it kind of does match the bottle now. When I swatched it in store, I felt like it was gonna work for me. I had a couple reps trying to help me out, and my self-tan was kind of faded, so it just kind of depends really on my self-tan. If it's fresh, right now it's faded as well, so that could be it. But I feel like this is a nice formula in terms of it gave me a glow, but it's really lightweight, so because you spray it on your brush, you can really build it up, and I probably did just apply a little too much. I haven't used this in a long time, but I feel like the coverage was great, and it's really customizable again because you can use like a tiny bit and keep building it up. I may have to exchange for a lighter shade just because I feel like this looks like it oxidized as well. So I'm interested to keep trying the Exa Beauty Corrector. I feel like it really did brighten my under eyes. I just prefer it under my concealer. So I'll keep giving this a try, but so far so good. And I do like the Lawless Concealer. I've talked about it many times. It's more of a, you know, self-setting matte. It's not gonna give you, you know, high full coverage, and it's not gonna give you hydration. It's more of that matte soft powder look, but I like it. I don't feel that it enhances any texture or, you know, creeps into my lines under my eyes, but it's definitely not hydrating. Still enjoying the She Glam powder. I just feel like this is such a smoothing formula, and for the price, you honestly can't beat it. I love my Huda Beauty and Pound Cake, but this is really close. It's just a little bit different because the shade I have is not as brightening, kind of similar to my Hailey's Beauty, which I really like. Just very smoothing and more of a shade that's good for all over the face, whereas the Huda Pound Cake, I feel like I like to use right in the T-zone. Still undecided on this One Size bronzer and contour trio. I don't dislike it, but I do find that I feel I look a little muddy when I use it, and it could be the shade's just too deep. Maybe like light medium would work better. This is very thin formula, very powdery, but it's incredibly pigmented. So I feel like for beginners, or if you have a heavy hand, this is gonna be an issue for you, just because I feel like you have to be so careful. I just wanna blend in my bronzer and be out the door. So I'm not sure this is the formula for me or the shade. It could be a mixture of both. I would rather build up a bronzer and have that control control to not get overdone and kind of patchy and muddy. So for me, I just don't think that's going to become a favorite. On the other hand, I'm really enjoying the blush trios. I think these are beautiful and I like the formula of all three. This is a little bit subdued for me, but again, I'm getting 2 more colors, so I'll be trying those out. And I'd like to see him expand. I feel like a lot of the colors are very like peachy. I'd like to see more maybe like pink or maybe even like terracotta. They all looked quite warm online and you can't get them in stores yet. That would have been helpful to really be able to like see them in store. But I really like this formula, which shocks me. Just gives you a nice glow. It almost is giving a similar effect to the M Cosmetics Heaven's Glow. It's a little bit more intense in terms of like shimmer, but for some reason it works. So for me, this is a yes. I'm excited to try more shades. Still absolutely loving the Mario lip liners. I believe I have 5 at this point. So I just really love the formula and the shades. And I do like this shade of the new Pat McGrath Bridgerton lipstick. Packaging feels a little cheap, and again, I want to get into that more when I do use the other products I purchased. This is a satin formula, and I really honestly love a peachy, light peachy nude lip, so this is right up my alley. All right, guys, so that is everything for this trying new makeup. I feel like this is the 3rd swing and a miss for trying new makeup, but it is what it is. I'm just testing out so many products, and I found some really amazing ones and some not so much. So I'm really just disappointed. Really disappointed with that Artist Couture palette. I feel like a lot of people were excited about it and something is just not good quality in that. So that's unfortunate, but I will link all the products down below in my description box. Let me know if you picked any of these up and what your experience has been. Maybe you had a great experience. Maybe it was just me. Let me know down below what you think about this look and how everything applied. If you're new here, I hope you subscribe. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.